The story revolves around Tanis, a genius young boy and his unusual siblings. The show starts as Tanis is on his way home after buying some groceries. Tanis can be seen being accompanied by a dog. As they reach back to Tanis' home, an apple falls out of his grocery bag that is caught by the same dog who turns into a human. The dog is actually Tanis' brother Snow, who has the ability to transform into a dog. The next scene shows a spider-like girl getting angry at Tanis for the dinner and asks him about what he's cooking tonight. This girl is his sister Aisley, who's a spider-human hybrid. Another girl who's also Tanis' sibling tells how he will be cooking sweet and sour pork. This girl is Swishy, and Tanis gets angry at her for reading his mind. Aisley tells Tanis to keep the dinner free of vegetables, and the last sibling, Ashisa, can be seen enjoying the sunlight. She's a plant-human hybrid and has flowers and other plant-like things on her. She tells Tanis how she likes the sunlight today and it tastes like strawberries. Tanis starts to remember the time when his parents got arrested. It is revealed that his parents were mad scientists who conducted experiments on their children and made them genetically modified until they were caught and arrested by the government. Tanis had to run the household, and since it's a difficult task, it puts Tanis under quite the load. While he was still thinking, this cockroach appeared on the kitchen wall. Aisley thought of the cockroach as a prey, and in order to hunt it down, she ends up making a mess of the whole house until Swishy kills the cockroach with a spray. Since all the ingredients he had bought for their dinner were destroyed, Tanis suggests that they should go outside for dinner since the ingredients cannot be used anymore. After a little discussion, the siblings agree and they arrive at a restaurant outside for dinner. The children order some food, but as the food arrives, Snow transforms back to a dog and starts to eat all the food on the table, making a ruckus. As Aisley tries to eat the food with her spider arms, the children catch a lot of attention. When people start asking about who brought the dog, Tanis shouts at his siblings and how they should try to act normal since they're outside of their house. Aisley starts to argue that they can't act normal since they're not normal in the first place. Tanis remembers how he met a strange man back at the island and how that man told him all about the outside world. Tanis expresses how he always wished to live in the outside world with his siblings. Looking at Tanis, Snow tries to use the chopsticks and eat his food. As he's still trying, Aisley and Ashise also try to eat their food with the chopsticks. As the siblings have calmed down and are trying to eat their food, they explain how the food is delicious. Seeing all this, Tanis gets happy and tells them about a fork. The siblings get angry at how he should have done that in the first place. As the siblings leave the place after finishing their food, Tanis gets really happy and starts crying out of joy. When Aisley asks for the reason, Tanis tells her that he just remembered something. The next scene explains how all of these siblings are genetically modified humans and how Tanis is a natural-born genius. Tanis could solve extremely difficult mathematical problems as a kid easily. The scene shifts to the present and Aisley is arguing with Tanis about going outside and how he should let her leave the house on her own. She argues that Tanis has no authority of bossing them around since he isn't even capable of hunting himself. Tanis pulls a medicine from his bag and asks Aisley to take it if she wants to go out alone. After all this argument, Tanis decides to leave the house for some groceries. When Snow asks to come with him, he turns him down and leaves on his own. Tanis is seen trying to decide if he should buy some snacks after the grocery. As he's still unsure, a random girl of the same age comes up to him and offers him a snack that she got for free. Tanis tries to be humble and rejects the offer, but the girl keeps insisting. Tanis happily takes the snack after she feeds it to him before leaving. On his way back home, Tanis gets lost. It turns out that Tanis is really bad with directions and gets lost easily without Snow. Looking for a way out, Tanis encounters a dog and tries to run away. Tanis ends up falling off of a cliff. At their house, his siblings are getting worried and decide to look for him as it's been 3 hours. Sushi tells him that he's close when they reach the mountain path. Aisley, proud of her strength, goes to look for him in the woods. As Tanis is about to fall down on his knees being tired, Aisley finds him as he gives her a hug. The siblings return home afterwards. The scene shifts to Tanis providing the siblings a way to go outside without taking the medicine. He covers Aisley and Ashise's scars with makeup and uses a backpack to hide Aisley's arms. The siblings get impressed by Tanis's thinking since he's a genius. Later, Tanis and Suishi decide to leave the house and meet up with an adult, as it's really hard for children to survive by themselves. The two leaves and Tanis, being bad with directions, forgets again. Suishi uses her power to get the two out of the situation and meet up with the adult. It turns out that the adult is Tanis's former home tutor. The kids explain everything to the teacher about how life's tough for them, and somehow the teacher gets angry at them instead. She starts to insult Tanis for being a rude genius and accuses him of being genetically modified as well. As Tanis starts to feel bad, Suishi tells him it's time to go and explains the reason for the teacher's behavior being her breakups due to her ego. Tanis meets the same girl Sumire on the way back, who gives Tanis her number after he gives her a fake name, Canis. The kids talk about how life's tough, but they are there for each other since they're family. After that, Tanis gets a call informing him about the visit of his landlord. To hide his siblings' identities, he decides to go back to the lab to look for some more humanizing medicine and research papers to help his siblings. They leave Suishi behind and head to the lab that is heavily guarded. The kids enter the lab but get into some trouble. Even so, they work together as a family and get out of the trouble, securing both the medicine and the research papers. Back at the lab, Tanis gets emotional, remembering old times, to which Snow consoles him. As the kids get back, they're greeted by the landlord. The landlord treats them with pizza, and Tanis, even though still being confused, feels like he's not like other adults. The landlord starts living with the kids and takes them on a trip to the mountains, where Tanis meets Sumire and enjoys his time. On the other hand, it turns out that Aisley starts to run wild because of the side effects of the humanizing medicine while she's with Ashise. Tanis and Snow run to help her, and after some effort by the siblings, she finally gets back under control. The landlord helps the children with their food and takes them outside to buy some furniture as the children are enjoying themselves. It turns out that the furniture is sold out. Tanis and the others decide to head to the junkyard to get their furniture. All this increases his trust for the landlord. Suishi meets someone outside in order to find out about the medicine, who turns out to be her former teacher and seems to know the landlord. The two have a chat, and later it turns out that Snow is missing. Sumire finds Snow and helps him in his human form. Tanis finds them together and forms a misunderstanding that Sumire clears later. However, by this time, Snow had already left, thinking that he's the reason for Tanis's change in behavior. Suishi's teacher and the landlord help Tanis to get back to his brother by giving him a ride on a boat and helping him clear things out with Snow. The children decide to get back together and support each other in this outside world and live a happy life, since they're a family and only they can have each other's back in life.